Have you ever paused to wonder why, despite having countless ways to connect, we seem to understand each other less and less? It's one of the great ironies of our time. The very technologies designed to bring us closer often push us further apart. But what if the key to overcoming this divide isn't in the latest innovation or digital breakthrough? What if the answer lies in a philosophy that has stood the test of time for over 2 millennia: Stoicism? Yes, Stoicism, an ancient philosophy dating back to the 3rd century BC, may hold the wisdom we need to foster deeper understanding and genuine connection in today's world. Imagine a society where, instead of reacting impulsively, we responded with patience and clarity. Where, instead of jumping to judgment, we approached every interaction with curiosity and a sincere desire to understand. The Stoics understood this principle long ago. It's not external events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Now apply this to every misunderstanding, every disagreement, and every moment of conflict in our daily lives. The impact is profound. In an era defined by rapid communication and endless distractions, Stoic teachings offer a timeless anchor reminding us of the power of perspective, the importance of inner peace, and the necessity of empathy. Stick with me, and you'll walk away with a fresh lens on how to navigate the complexities of human relationships in our hyper-connected world, armed with ancient wisdom that's more relevant now than ever. Let's dive into the Stoic way of living and discover how these age-old principles can reshape our modern lives. You'd be amazed at how narrow-minded you might actually be. In our everyday lives, we often find ourselves in situations that seem to demand quick, black and white judgments. Those moments when we instinctively label something as right or wrong, good or bad. But if we take a step back, isn't life far more nuanced than these rigid categories? This is where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism offers a powerful shift in perspective. Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardships. It's about learning to interpret our experiences in a way that frees us from emotional extremes and rigid thinking. Imagine it as a wise mentor, always urging us to look beyond the surface. As the renowned Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This insight beautifully captures the heart of Stoicism. The idea that reality isn't always as clear-cut as it seems, and truth is often found in the shades of gray between extremes. Now, let's take this further. What if truth itself isn't absolute? This concept goes beyond Stoicism, reaching back to the teachings of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Socrates, through his relentless questioning, taught us that acknowledging our own ignorance is the first step toward real wisdom. Plato's allegory of the cave showed us how our perceptions can be deceiving, while Aristotle's golden mean encouraged us to seek balance rather than extremes. Stoicism embraces these ideas and applies them to everyday life. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, emphasized the importance of mastering our reactions rather than trying to control external events. He famously said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." It's a striking reminder that our minds often magnify our struggles, making them feel far worse than they actually are. Similarly, Epictetus reinforced this principle, teaching that it's not what happens to us that truly matters, but how we choose to respond. But Stoicism isn't the only philosophy that explores this way of thinking. Jumping ahead to the 20th century, Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, also recognized the power of embracing complexity. He believed that personal growth comes from integrating both light and dark aspects of ourselves. As he put it, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. This aligns closely with Stoic philosophy, the idea that true wisdom comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from fully engaging with life's challenges. When we weave together these ancient Stoic teachings with insights from modern psychology, a deeper truth emerges. Life's struggles are rarely simple or one-dimensional. They are rich, layered, and full of meaning. By recognizing this complexity, we can shift our perspective, navigate challenges with greater clarity, and ultimately grow into wiser, more resilient individuals. The world around us often pressures us to take sides, to simplify, to see things in black and white, but real understanding, the kind that transforms both our inner world and our relationships, comes from embracing the full spectrum of experience. Everywhere we look, we find ourselves caught in debates that frame the world in rigid contrasts: capitalism or socialism, tradition or innovation, emotion or logic. It feels like we're constantly standing at a crossroads, expected to choose a side. But what if true wisdom doesn't come from picking one extreme over the other? What if the real insight lies in resisting the urge to rush into absolutes? This is where Stoicism, a remarkably relevant and thought-provoking philosophy, offers a different perspective. Originating in ancient Greece and Rome, Stoicism isn't about taking sides. It's about cultivating balance and gaining clarity. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus didn't advocate for rigid ideology, but instead encouraged us to explore the nuances between opposing views. They urged us to ask, what do we miss when we confine ourselves to one perspective? What deeper insights remain undiscovered when we fail to examine the space in between? Take the classic struggle between emotion and logic, two forces that often seem at odds in our decision-making. Stoicism teaches us that both are essential. It's not about suppressing emotion or blindly following pure logic. It's about learning to understand and manage our emotions while using reason as a guiding tool. Epictetus emphasized that our emotions don't have to control us. Instead, we can work with them to navigate life's complexities. The Stoics didn't view emotion and logic as enemies, but as complementary forces, each with a role to play in shaping a well-balanced life. Then there's the debate between tradition and innovation. Many believe they must choose between the two, but Stoicism offers a more nuanced approach. It teaches us to respect and learn from the past while remaining open to change and new ideas. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, adapt yourself to the life you have been given and truly love the people with whom destiny has surrounded you. This embodies the Stoic mindset, embracing what is while remaining adaptable and open to growth. And what about the ongoing economic debates, like capitalism versus socialism? Stoicism doesn't provide a simple answer or declare one system superior. Instead, it encourages us to look beyond surface-level arguments and seek a balance where the best elements of both systems can coexist. Rather than getting trapped in binary thinking, Stoicism urges us to consider multiple perspectives and strive for a more holistic understanding of complex issues. There's something fascinating about the way we often think we tend to categorize everything into simple opposites: this or that, yes or no, black or white. It's tempting because it makes the world feel easier to understand. But in doing so, we reduce life's rich complexity to a mere two-tone image, stripping away the depth and color that make it meaningful. True wisdom comes not from choosing sides, but from embracing the full spectrum of possibilities. By breaking free from rigid thinking, we can cultivate a deeper, more thoughtful approach to life, one that allows us to see beyond the illusion of absolutes and appreciate the richness of perspective. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that every situation presents a simple, clear-cut choice. We're often drawn to binary decisions, right or wrong, success or failure, strength or weakness. But this is where Stoicism, a deeply insightful and time-tested philosophy, offers a different approach. Stoicism teaches us that the most meaningful answers in life aren't always found in extremes, but rather in the nuanced middle ground. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This idea is transformative. It suggests that life isn't just a series of rigid choices. It's about how we interpret, respond, and find balance in the complexities we face. When we adopt a Stoic mindset, we begin to see the world in a more fluid and adaptable way. Instead of feeling forced to pick a side, we recognize that there is often wisdom in embracing both perspectives. For example, consider the supposed conflict between emotion and logic. Many believe they must choose one over the other, either be rational and detached or deeply emotional and intuitive. But Stoicism teaches us that both are valuable. We can be logical and emotional, strong and compassionate, practical and idealistic. It's not about suppressing feelings or blindly following reason, but about harmonizing the two in a way that leads to wisdom and resilience. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, embodied this principle in his meditations. He constantly reminded himself to look beyond surface appearances, to understand the interconnected nature of all things, and to accept the ever-changing flow of life. By doing so, he maintained a sense of inner peace and strength, even in the face of immense challenges. This Stoic rejection of rigid binary thinking is incredibly liberating. It expands our perspective, allowing us to see opportunities where we once saw limitations. When we stop categorizing everything in absolute terms, we open ourselves up to a deeper appreciation of life's richness. We become more understanding, more open-minded, and better equipped to navigate the complexities of human existence. So the next time you find yourself trapped in an either-or mindset, take a step back and ask, is there another way to look at this? Can both perspectives hold value? By doing this, you're not just finding better answers, you're unlocking new ways of thinking and seeing the world. The beauty of life often lies in the gray areas, in the spaces between black and white. These in-between spaces hold some of the most profound insights and meaningful experiences. Think about this. Every idea, every belief carries a degree of truth, but it also has its limitations. It's like looking at a coin, there's always another side. The Stoics understood this well. They didn't explore opposing ideas simply to argue or prove a point, but to truly understand and grow from them. Take light and darkness without one, we wouldn't fully appreciate the other. The same goes for sound and silence. Silence makes sound more profound, and sound gives meaning to silence. Recognizing the interplay between opposites doesn't mean avoiding decisions or being indecisive. On the contrary, it means making choices with greater awareness and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly when he wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." What he meant was that our experiences and beliefs are only part of the picture. There's always more to understand. When you begin to see life this way, it's like stepping into a much larger, more vibrant world. You realize that wisdom can come from the most unexpected places, that every perspective holds something valuable, and that true understanding isn't about proving who's right or wrong. It's about learning and growing. The Stoics believed that wisdom and virtue were the cornerstones of a meaningful life, and part of that journey involves embracing complexity, listening to opposing ideas, and broadening our perspectives. In today's world, where we are constantly pressured to take sides, to categorize people and ideas, and to see everything in black and white, the Stoic approach offers something different. It encourages us to pause, step back, and see the bigger picture. True wisdom isn't found in rigid extremes. It's in the ability to hold multiple truths at once and navigate life with balance, insight, and resilience. When you're confronted with an idea or belief that challenges your own, try looking at it through a Stoic lens. Instead of immediately dismissing it, ask yourself, what truth does it hold? What can I learn from it? How does it complement or challenge my own perspective? Stoicism isn't about agreeing with everything. It's about being open to the idea that value can be found in difference. By engaging with diverse viewpoints, we don't just gain a deeper understanding of the world, we also gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. This is the essence of what the Stoics stood for, and it's just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. When we fall into the trap of binary thinking, the habit of seeing everything as either black or white, right or wrong, we limit ourselves. It's like putting on blinders that narrow our vision. We don't just restrict the choices we see, we also limit our potential for growth, understanding, and ultimately, happiness. It's like living in a tiny room, unaware that a vast world exists just outside. The Stoics, including Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, were deeply aware of this tendency. They understood the power of stepping back and observing our own thoughts. Epictetus famously said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This isn't just about communication, it's about mindfulness. It's about resisting the urge to immediately judge and categorize everything. When we follow the Stoics' advice, when we slow down and truly listen, we begin to notice the depth and complexity of life. We start to see the subtle details and nuances that are easy to overlook in our rush to make judgments. And this isn't about indecision or hesitation. It's about creating the space to see things more clearly, to understand rather than react. By practicing this kind of reflection, we start to uncover the richness hidden beneath the surface. What once seemed simple reveals unexpected depth. What once felt like a choice between 2 extremes begins to open up into a world of possibilities. This Stoic approach of reflection, mindfulness, and resisting binary thinking can lead to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. When we free ourselves from rigid black and white perspectives, we make room for new experiences, new ideas, and new ways of understanding. We become more adaptable, more empathetic, and more connected to the world around us. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully in Meditations when he wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." What he meant is that our reality is shaped by our perceptions, and those perceptions are often incomplete. But if we can learn to broaden them to see beyond simple categories, we can begin to experience the world in a much richer, more meaningful way. So, next time you catch yourself slipping into a rigid binary mindset, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, am I seeing the full picture? Is there another way to look at this? Taking that step back, observing rather than reacting, allows you to see beyond the immediate and beyond the surface. And in doing so, you're not just learning about the world, you're learning about yourself. You're growing, evolving, and moving closer to the Stoic ideal of a well-lived life, a life of wisdom, understanding, and true fulfillment. Have you ever considered the different levels of thinking we navigate each day? The Stoics, those ancient masters of the mind, certainly did. They understood that true wisdom comes not from clinging to easy answers, but from embracing the depth and complexity of life itself. And that's a lesson worth remembering. The Stoics had profound insights into how our minds work. They believed that by carefully examining our perceptions and judgments, we could gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Let's explore this idea, starting with the concept of binary thinking. Binary thinking is like seeing the world in black and white. Everything is either good or bad, right or wrong, yes or no. And while this mindset can be helpful in certain situations, like making quick decisions for safety reasons, it often falls short when dealing with complex matters like relationships, ethics, or personal growth. Life is rarely that simple, and trying to force it into rigid categories can limit our understanding. This is where Stoicism comes in. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca recognized the shortcomings of binary thinking and encouraged a more nuanced approach. Instead of immediately judging a situation as purely right or wrong, they urged us to step back, question our initial impressions, and explore the middle ground, the space where true wisdom and understanding reside. Marcus Aurelius captured this idea perfectly when he said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." This reminds us that our view of any situation is often incomplete, shaped by our biases and emotions. Instead of rushing to conclusions, we should take time to consider alternative perspectives and acknowledge the complexity of reality. For instance, in a disagreement, instead of immediately labeling the other person as wrong and yourself as right, take a moment to understand their perspective. What experiences have shaped their view? Why do they feel the way they do? By approaching conflicts this way, you open yourself up to deeper understanding, empathy, and more meaningful connections. The beauty of this Stoic mindset is that it pushes us beyond surface-level thinking. It encourages us to recognize the vast spectrum of human experience, filled with contradictions and complexities. This doesn't mean avoiding decisions or forming opinions. It simply means making them with greater awareness, balance, and wisdom. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to embrace the middle ground, where real insight often lies. So the next time you catch yourself slipping into binary thinking, pause, take a step back, look for the nuances. In doing so, you'll likely find a richer, more thoughtful perspective, one that leads to better decisions and a deeper appreciation of life. Now, imagine replacing black and white thinking with a full spectrum of colors. Instead of seeing only night and day, you begin to notice the beauty of dawn, dusk, and all the shades in between. This is what the Stoics meant when they spoke of examining our impressions rather than blindly trusting them. Our reactions to events aren't fixed. They exist on a scale, influenced by our beliefs and judgments. This means that our initial reaction to something, whether frustration, joy, or disappointment, isn't the final word. It's merely the starting point. The more we reflect, the more we uncover different angles, possibilities, and insights. Take a situation like being passed over for a promotion. Your first reaction might be disappointment or frustration. But if you apply this broader way of thinking, you might discover positives you hadn't considered. Perhaps it frees up time to focus on personal growth, opens doors to unexpected opportunities, or gives you a chance to reassess your career path. This perspective aligns with the wisdom of Epictetus, who famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The Stoic approach teaches us to see challenges not as absolute setbacks, but as moments filled with potential meaning and growth. This way of thinking is incredibly freeing. It moves us beyond knee-jerk reactions and helps us navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom, patience, and resilience. And it's not just a philosophical idea, it's deeply practical. By embracing this more flexible mindset, we develop the ability to handle setbacks, disagreements, and uncertainties with clarity and composure. So next time you find yourself reacting strongly to a situation, pause and ask yourself, is there another way to see this? Is there a middle ground here? This isn't about ignoring your emotions. It's about allowing yourself the space to process them fully and thoughtfully. And in doing so, you just might find a clearer, more insightful path forward. Thinking, especially in the Stoic tradition, is about embracing the complexity of life and our reactions to it. Life is rarely as simple as it seems at first glance, and Stoicism reminds us to approach challenges with flexibility, openness, and a deeper understanding. It encourages us to appreciate that for every silver lining there's a cloud, and that's perfectly okay. Now, imagine you could chart your thoughts and emotions on a graph, like mapping the landscape of your mind. Picture one axis representing the emotional intensity of your reactions, from negative to positive, and the other measuring how strong or mild those emotions feel. By plotting your responses to different situations, you create a visual representation of how your thoughts and emotions interact, creating a bird's-eye view of your mental landscape. This kind of mapping is a great tool for self-awareness. It's like you're holding up a mirror to your inner world, seeing the patterns that shape your emotional responses. The Stoics thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus taught us to understand the nature of our emotions, how they can disrupt our peace or promote our well-being. By identifying patterns in your emotional responses, you can see where you're out of balance. Are you leaning too heavily into negativity? Are your emotional reactions more intense than the situation warrants? This simple graph becomes a tool for achieving the Stoic goal of equilibrium and harmony within ourselves. It's a way to make Stoic philosophy practical for everyday life. Instead of trying to suppress or control your emotions, the Stoics advocated for understanding and working with them, finding ways to align your thoughts and actions with your values and goals, guiding you toward the ideal of virtue. Next time you're feeling overwhelmed by emotions or tangled in your thoughts, try visualizing this graph. Where do your feelings land? What patterns do you notice? And most importantly, what small adjustments can you make to move toward a more balanced, harmonious state? It's a continuous journey, but one that leads to deeper self-awareness and a more fulfilling life, very much in the spirit of Stoicism. And when we elevate this thinking to the next level, we move into a space where Stoicism truly shines three-dimensional thinking. This is about balancing emotions, actions, and wisdom in a harmonious way. It's not just about reacting to things in the moment, but about considering the long-term consequences of our beliefs and actions. It's where we take into account multiple variables, understanding that life is rarely simple or straightforward. This is where Stoicism becomes a guiding light. In our fast-paced, complex world, life throws a myriad of challenges, each with its own shades of gray. Stoicism teaches us to embrace this ambiguity, to make peace with not having all the answers, and to recognize that our perceptions are only part of the bigger picture. Multivariable thinking is like looking at life through a wide-angle lens. It's about weaving together all the elements that make up who we are, our values, emotions, and logical thinking into one cohesive view. Imagine it like creating a complex tapestry, each thread representing a different aspect of our lives. The Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, were masters at integrating these elements. They didn't see emotions, logic, or values as isolated parts. Instead, they recognize that these forces are interconnected, each influencing and being influenced by the others. For the Stoics, true wisdom and resilience came from considering these aspects together. It's not about suppressing emotions or abandoning your beliefs. Rather, it's about broadening your perspective, questioning those instinctual reactions, and cultivating a mindset that embraces growth, resilience, and the richness of life's complexities. Take, for example, a big decision you might be facing, whether it's changing careers or making a major life move. Multivariable thinking asks you to look beyond the immediate pros and cons. It encourages you to reflect on how the decision aligns with your core values, how it resonates emotionally, and how your logical mind assesses its long-term consequences. It's about seeing the full picture so you can make a decision that speaks to all parts of you. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought. The Stoic journey is a continual process of learning and growth. It's about embracing life with all its uncertainties and complexities and learning how to thrive within them. It's not about having a rigid mindset. It's about being flexible, open to new perspectives, and willing to adapt as you gain more insight and understanding. The path of Stoicism isn't just a philosophical journey. It's a deeply personal adventure into the heart of what it means to be human, especially in a world full of change and challenges. Embracing the Stoic way is like finding an anchor during a storm. It grounds us, guides us, and gives us the strength to face life with courage and wisdom. True resilience isn't about avoiding falls. It's about learning to rise each time we do. Carry these lessons with you. Let them light your path, and remember, in the tapestry of life, every thread, no matter how tangled or complex, adds to the beauty of the whole. If today's discussion resonated with you and you're eager to continue exploring, check out our playlist on Stoicism right here on the screen. Dive deeper, uncover more insights, and discover ways to apply these timeless principles in your life. Just click on the playlist, and let's keep this journey going. Thank you for joining me today, and until next time, keep nurturing your mind, embracing life's complexities, and finding joy in every step of your journey.